Ethan Cole walked across the rocky ground of Ilaranine. The wind was dry and full of dust. His shift at the supply depot had just ended, and he wanted to check a damaged cargo container near the edge of the base. It had been sitting there for days. The workers said it was empty, but Ethan was curious. He climbed over a small pile of broken parts and opened the heavy door. Inside, it was dark and cold. At first, he saw nothing. Then he heard a sound soft, like a whisper or a small animal. Breathing. He turned on his flashlight dot in the corner of the container. Two small figures huddled together. Their skin was pale blue, and they looked thin and weak. Big, dark eyes stared at him. They looked scared. Ethan stepped back in surprise. They were not human. They were young Virellans, a race not often seen on mining colonies. He had only read about them in old reports. These two looked like children. One of them, the older-looking one, held the other close. Ethan saw their ribs through their skin. They were starving. He took a deep breath and slowly knelt down. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you." The older twin blinked, but did not move. The younger one hid behind him, shaking a little. Ethan slowly reached into his bag and pulled out a small food bar. He opened it and placed it on the floor. "You need this more than I do." After a moment, the older twin crawled forward and picked up the bar. They sniffed it, then gave half to the younger one. They ate like they hadn't had food in days. Ethan watched, feeling a deep sadness. "My name is Ethan," he said. "What happened?" "To you?" They didn't answer. He guessed they didn't speak English. He remembered a translator device in his room. If he could get them there, maybe they could talk. He looked around. If someone else found them, they might call security. The company had strict rules about aliens. Ethan made a decision. "Come with me. I can help," he said. He stood up and held out his hand. The older twin looked at him, unsure. Then slowly, they took his hand. That night, Ethan snuck them into his cabin. He gave them water and more food. He found an old blanket and made a bed on the floor. They were too weak to stand long. He tried the translator device. It worked. "My name is Lyra," the older one said. "This is my brother, Naro." "Where are your parents?" Lyra looked down. "Gone. Slavers attacked our ship. We escaped." Naro looked at Ethan with tired eyes. "Are you going to sell us?" Ethan felt a sharp pain in his chest. "No, never. You're safe here, I promise." In the days that followed, he kept them hidden. He brought food from the kitchen and medicine from the supply room. Lyra and Naro started to smile more. They asked questions about Earth and human life. Lyra liked music. Naro liked stories. Ethan learned that Virellans could feel emotions around them. They said his kindness felt warm, like a light. He didn't understand fully, but he liked hearing them laugh. He told them stories about his childhood, how he grew up on a farm before coming to space. He showed them how to fix small machines and even taught them a few words of English. But not everyone was blind. His coworker, Jake, asked why he was always tired. Ethan made excuses. He started locking his door at night. He became more careful. "Night," Lyra said. "You saved us. We will not forget." Ethan smiled. Anyone would have done it. Lyra shook her head. "No, not anyone." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He looked at the stars from his small window. He thought about the rules, the risks, and the strange, strong bond he now felt with the twins. He knew this wasn't just a simple act of kindness anymore. It was something bigger. And whatever happened next, he would protect them, even if it meant breaking every rule. Ethan woke up early. He looked at the floor where the twins were still sleeping. Lyra had her arm around Naro. They looked peaceful for the first time since he found them. He made some food and waited for them to wake up. When they opened their eyes, he smiled. "Morning." Lyra sat up and rubbed her eyes. Naro stretched and gave a small yawn. They still looked tired, but better than before. Ethan gave them breakfast and watched them eat. He had never seen anyone eat so carefully, like every bite mattered. Lyra thanked him through the translator. "You are kind," she said. "Why do you help us?" Ethan thought for a moment. "Because no one helped me when I needed it. I don't want anyone else to feel that way." Naro looked at him. "Were you alone too?" "Yes," Ethan said softly, "for a long time." That day he stayed in his cabin instead of going to work. He showed the twins how to use the translator better. Lyra learned fast. She asked about everything. She wanted to know how machines worked, what humans ate, why Earth had so many animals. Naro stayed close to his sister, but slowly started asking questions too. He liked to touch the small gadgets Ethan had on his desk. Ethan let him play with an old music player. Naro smiled when he heard soft piano music. "It feels nice," Naro said, "like being in the sky." Ethan laughed. "It's called music. People use it to feel better." Lyra asked, "Do humans feel pain like us?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, we feel fear, love, sadness. We cry too." She looked down. "Then you understand." Ethan didn't ask more. He knew they had seen terrible things. That night, there was a knock on his door. Ethan froze. He told the twins to hide in the closet. He opened the door. Little Dot, it was Jake, his co-worker. "Hey, Jake." Sighed. "You okay? You missed work." "Yeah," Ethan replied. "Just not feeling well." "Maybe a bug." Jake looked past him. "You got someone in there?" "No," Ethan said quickly. "Just tired." Jake raised an eyebrow but didn't push. "All right, get some rest. See you tomorrow." Ethan closed the door and waited. After a few minutes, he let the twins out. Naro looked scared. Lyra was quiet. "It's all right," Ethan said. "He didn't see anything." Lyra said, "They will come one day. They always come." Ethan sat down. "Then we need a plan." The next few days, he taught the twins how to move quietly. He made a map of the mining colony and marked the safe places. He showed them how to use the air vents to escape if needed. He also repaired a small handheld scanner. It could detect life signs. He gave it to Lyra. "If something happens to me, use this. Run and hide. Don't wait." Lyra didn't like that. "We won't leave you." Ethan looked at her. "Promise me." "You have to stay safe." Lyra looked at her brother, then nodded. "Only if you promise too." Ethan smiled. "Deal." Naro started drawing pictures with an old pen. He drew the stars, ships, and strange animals. Ethan saved each one. It made the cabin feel like a home. One evening, Lyra sat next to Ethan while Naro slept. "Our people bond through feelings," she said. "I can feel your kindness. It makes us strong." Ethan didn't know what to say. "I'm just doing what I can." Lyra looked at him with serious eyes. "No, it is more than that. You make us feel safe. That is rare." Ethan looked out the window. "I wish I could do more." She touched his arm lightly. "You already have." As time passed, the twins got stronger. Lyra learned to fix small tools. Naro helped clean the cabin. Ethan trusted them more each day, but he also felt the pressure. He knew he couldn't keep this secret forever. He checked the outside scanners more often. He kept his bag packed out one night. He looked at them while they slept and whispered, "I won't let anything happen to you. Not again." Outside, the stars shone brightly, but Ethan knew danger was not far behind. Ethan walked back from work with his head low. The sky over LR9 was gray, and dust blew through the air. Something didn't feel right. He had seen a ship near the colony that wasn't listed on the schedule. It had no markings. When he asked, the dock workers, they said it arrived during the night. At home, the twins were waiting. Naro smiled when he saw him. Lyra looked serious. "Something is wrong," she said. Ethan nodded. "A new ship came today. I don't know who they are." Lyra looked worried. "They might be slavers. They could be looking for us." Ethan checked the scanner. Nothing near the cabin, but that didn't make him feel safe. He looked at Lyra and Naro. We need to be ready. If they find us, we run. No questions. Naro asked. Where will we go? There's an old tunnel under the repair bay. It leads to the outer hills. I marked it on the map. We can hide there for a while. They spent the evening packing bags. Food, water, the scanner, the translator, and warm clothes. Ethan also hid a small energy tool in his jacket just in case. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He stayed by the window, watching the colony lights. Just before morning, the scanner beeped. He looked and saw movement near the storage zone. A group of armed men, 5 of them. One held a tracking device. Ethan woke the twins. We have to go. Now, Lyra and Naro jumped up. No questions. No fear. Just trust. They slipped out through the back. Ethan knew the paths well. They moved fast, staying low, hiding behind crates and old pipes. The air was cold. The stars above were sharp and clear. They reached the repair bay. Ethan used his card to open the locked door. Inside, it was dark and full of old parts. He found the hatch and opened it. The tunnel was small and dusty, but it was safe. They crawled through it for half an hour. Then they came out near the rocky hills behind the colony. A small cave was. Hidden between 2 cliffs, Ethan led them inside. We'll stay here until I can figure out who those people are. Lyra sat close to Naro. Thank you. You didn't have to do this. Ethan looked at her. Yes, I did. You're not just anyone anymore. You're family. That made Lyra smile. A real smile dot in the cave. They made a small fire using a heater pack. Ethan set the scanner at the entrance. Then they ate and rested. Naro slept. Lyra spoke quietly. Our people bond through emotions. Strong ones. You gave us safety when we had nothing. That kind of bond changes us. Ethan didn't know what to say. I didn't do it for anything in return. I know, Lyra said. That makes it even more powerful. The next day, Ethan left the cave for a short time. He needed to know more about the strange men. He used a back route to get to a friend at the Tower, a quiet worker named Joel. Joel didn't ask questions, but he was good with tech. Those men? Joel said, looking at a screen. They came from a ship called Black Ember. No ID, no docking papers. They're not traders? Ethan felt cold. Can you see what they're tracking? Joel worked fast. Looks like they picked up a signal. Old Varellan tech. Weak, but still on. Ethan swore under his breath. It had to be the device Lyra had kept. He had told her to turn it off, but maybe she didn't know how. He thanked Joel and left quickly. On the way back, he took a longer path to make sure he wasn't followed. He reached the cave by night. They tracked your he told Lyra. It was still on. She looked guilty. I didn't know. I'm sorry. It's all right, Ethan said. We turned it off now. But they're close. Lyra held his hand. We trust you. The next day, the scanner beeped again. More movement. Closer this time. Ethan stood up and got his bag. They found us. Naro looked at him. Will we be okay? Ethan smiled. Yes, I promise. He led them deeper into the hills. As they walked, Lyra looked at Ethan with a strange expression, like she was seeing something new. They didn't know what would happen next, but they knew one thing. They would face it together. The cave was cold, and the air smelled like dust and stone. Ethan sat near the entrance, watching the scanner. Lyra and Naro stayed close behind him. Their faces were tense. They all knew the slavers were coming. We need to move again, Ethan said. They will reach this cave soon. Lyra looked at him. We are tired, Ethan. Naro is weak. He hasn't eaten much. Ethan opened his bag and took out the last food bar. He split it in 2 and handed them each a piece. Naro ate slowly. Lyra tried to smile. Thank you, she said. I'll find more food soon, Ethan promised. But first, we have to be safe. They walked carefully through the narrow path between the rocks. Ethan knew of an old research outpost hidden beyond the hills. It had been shut down years ago, but he hoped there were still supplies and shelter there. It took most of the day to reach it. The sun was setting when they saw the outline of the building. It was made of dull gray metal and half covered in sand. A broken tower stood nearby, leaning to one side. Inside, it was dark and quiet. Dust covered the floors. Ethan found a working light panel and turned it on. Weak light filled the room. "This place will do," he said. "At least for now." They set up in a back room. Lyra cleaned the corner for Naro to rest. Ethan searched the other rooms and found a few sealed food packs and a water filter. It wasn't much, but it was enough for a few days. Later that night, while Naro slept, Lyra sat beside Ethan. She looked tired, but her eyes were still full of light. "You risk everything for us," she said. Ethan shook his head. "I just did what I had to." "No," she said. "Most people would not. You could have turned away. You could have given us to the guards, but you didn't." Ethan looked down. "I saw 2 kids who needed help. That was enough." Lyra leaned closer. "In our world, gratitude is not just words. It is something deep. When someone saves your life, you become connected. That bond is strong." Ethan didn't reply. He looked into her eyes and saw how serious she was. "We feel it now," Lyra said. "Your kindness, your care. It gives us strength." Ethan smiled a little. "You give me strength too. You both do." The next morning, Naro was feeling better. He walked around the outpost and found an old tablet. It still worked. Ethan helped him connect it to the translator. Naro used it to draw again. He showed Ethan a picture he made. It showed the 3 of them standing together under the stars. "Is that us?" Ethan asked. Naro nodded. "It means safe, together." Ethan felt something warm in his chest. He put the picture in his bag. Later that day, Ethan checked the scanner. No movement nearby. He let the twins rest while he climbed to the top of the tower. From there, he could see the wide land around the hills. He took out his small device. It was risky, but he needed to try. He sent a short signal to one of the nearby stations. Just a message. 3 stranded. Need pickup? Quiet. Safe codes only. He turned it off fast and climbed back down. That night, while they sat around a small light, Ethan told the twins stories about Earth. He spoke of rivers, trees, and animals. Lyra asked many questions. "Do humans live with animals?" "Some do," Ethan said. "On farms, people live with dogs, cats, even horses." Naro asked, "Do the animals trust humans?" "Sometimes," Ethan replied. "If you are kind to them, they will trust you, just like people." Lyra smiled. "Then we are like those animals. You are kind. We trust you." Ethan laughed. "I guess that's true, but the warm moment didn't last long." In the middle of the night, the scanner made a soft noise. Movement detected. Someone was coming. Ethan stood quickly. He grabbed his bag and checked the signal. 3 life forms, not far. "Wake up," he said. "They found us." Lyra and Naro got up fast. They looked afraid, but not frozen. "Where now?" Lyra asked. Ethan pointed to the back door. "There's a small path behind the outpost. It leads to a canyon. We go now." They slipped into the night again, shadows moving under the stars. The danger was close, but the bond between them was stronger. We're not just running anymore. They were fighting to stay together. The narrow path behind the outpost led down into a dry canyon. The walls were steep, and the wind was strong. Ethan held Lyra's hand while Naro followed close behind. They moved fast but quiet. Every sound echoed in the canyon. "We can rest behind those rocks," Ethan said, pointing to a group of boulders ahead. They crouched behind the stones. Lyra checked the scanner. "They are still coming. 3 of them, getting closer." Ethan looked at the narrow entrance to the canyon. "If we stay here, they'll find us. We need a distraction." Lyra shook her head. "You can't face them alone." "I'm not going to fight," Ethan said. I just need to slow them down. Give you time to run. Naro grabbed his arm. No, we stay together. Ethan placed a hand on Naro's shoulder. You both have to live. That's what matters. He stood and took a deep breath. He reached into his bag and pulled out the energy tool. It wasn't a weapon, but it could create a bright flash and loud sound. Maybe enough to scare them or distract them. Wait here, he said. If I don't come back, keep running to the high ridge. There's an old compost there. Lyra's eyes were wide, but she nodded. Come back to us? Ethan moved back through the canyon. He hid behind a ridge and watched the three figures come closer. They wore black armor and carried pulse rifles. One had a scanner in his hand. Ethan waited until they were close, then threw the tool. It landed behind them and flashed bright blue. The sound was loud and sharp. The slavers turned fast, firing at nothing. Ethan used the moment to run in the other direction, hoping they would follow him. It worked. Two of them chased him. The third stayed back, still checking the scanner. Lyra and Naro saw this from their hiding spot. One is coming toward us, Naro whispered. Lyra looked at the scanner. He's too close. We have to do something. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small stone. It wasn't just a rock. It was a memory stone from her planet. It could hold energy. She looked at Naro. We have to use the bond, Naro understood. He held her hand. Together, they closed their eyes and focused. A soft glow began to shine from their hands. The slaver came around the rocks, gun raised. But before he could fire, a wave of light hit him. He fell back, dazed. His weapon dropped. His scanner broke on the ground. The twins didn't stop. They kept holding the light, sending a wave of calm and confusion toward the slaver. He stumbled, then ran. Lara and Naro dropped to the ground, tired but safe. Farther down the canyon, Ethan kept running. He heard the noise behind him fade. He looked back and saw no one chasing him. He turned and ran back toward the twins. When he reached the rocks, he saw the broken scanner and the dropped weapon. Are you okay? He asked. Lyra nodded. We used our bond. It was strong enough. Ethan looked at them with wonder. You did this? Together, Naro said. Ethan smiled. You saved us. They moved again, heading for the high ridge. The wind grew colder, and the sky was turning dark. After an hour of walking, they saw the outline of the old compost. It was small and broken, but the antenna was still there. Ethan climbed to the top and tried the panel. It didn't work at first, but after a few tries, the screen lit up. Sent a message. Urgent pickup. 3 survivors. Coordinates set. Reply fast. They waited in the small room below. The twins sat close together, wrapped in a blanket. Ethan sat across from them, watching the sky. After what felt like forever, the comm beeped. A reply. Message received. Small transport en route. Arrival in 4 hours. Ethan let out a long breath. They're coming. We just need to hold on. Naro looked up. Will we be safe after this? Ethan nodded. Yes. Once we leave this place, you'll be safe. Lyra asked. What about you? Ethan smiled. I'll go with you. If that's okay? The twins both smiled. Yes, we want that. They sat quietly after that. The danger was not over, but hope had returned. And that made all the difference. The hours passed slowly in the small compost. Ethan kept checking the sky through the cracked window. Lyra sat beside Naro, holding his hand. They were quiet but alert. Every sound outside made them sit up straight. The wind outside grew stronger. Dust blew across the ridge. Ethan checked the scanner again. Finally, he saw something, a ship moving fast toward them. It was small and silver, flying low to the ground. They're here, Ethan said. Get ready. The ship landed nearby with a soft hum. The back door opened, and a man in a pilot suit waved at them. You called for help? Come on, quickly. Ethan grabbed the bag. Lyra and Naro followed close behind. They ran through the dust and climbed into the ship. The door closed, and the engines lifted them into the sky. Inside, the ship was warm and quiet. The pilot looked back at them. "You're lucky. We were the only ship close enough to respond." Ethan nodded. "Thank you. We really needed help." The ship flew higher, leaving the planet behind. Lyra looked out the window. Naro leaned against her, tired again. "Where are we going?" Lyra asked. "A Varellan medical ship is waiting nearby," the pilot said. "They got the message and came fast. They want to see the twins." Ethan looked at the children. "It's all right. They're your people. They want to help." After some time, the ship reached a large white cruiser floating in space. It looked clean and peaceful. The pilot docked the ship and opened the door. Several Varellans stood outside, dressed in long silver robes. One stepped forward, a tall woman with soft blue eyes. "I am Sari, elder of the Varellan Medical Council. Welcome." Lyra and Naro stepped forward. They bowed their heads. Sari walked closer and gently touched their foreheads. "You are safe now," she said. "Come." As they walked into the ship, Ethan stayed back. He felt like an outsider now. He had done what he could. Maybe it was time to let them go. Sari turned to him. "You must come too. You are part of this." Ethan followed. The ship was quiet inside, filled with soft lights and gentle sounds. Doctors checked Lyra and Naro. They gave them warm food and clean clothes. Sari took Ethan to a small room. She looked at him carefully. "You protected our young ones. You fed them, healed them, gave them safety. That is rare." Ethan shrugged. "They needed help. I couldn't walk away." Sari nodded. "In our world, such acts are not forgotten." "The twins have asked for the bonding rite." Ethan looked confused. "What does that mean?" "It means they see you as more than a protector. You are now part of their life path. A bond of gratitude, one that lasts forever." Ethan sat down slowly. "Forever? Are you sure?" Sari smiled. "They are sure." They made the choice together. Later, Lyra and Naro returned. They wore new clothes and looked stronger. Lyra walked up to Ethan. "You saved us, but you also changed us. We are not alone now. We don't want to be." Naro held Ethan's hand. "Stay with us. Be our family." Ethan felt his chest tighten. He looked at both of them. Their eyes were full of hope. He thought of all they had been through, all they had survived together. "All right," he said. "I'll stay." The next day, the ship left the system. Lyra and Naro spent their time learning and resting. Ethan helped with small tasks and learned more about Varellan life. He met other elders and shared stories about Earth. The bond ceremony was simple. In a quiet room, Ethan stood between Lyra and Naro. They placed their hands on a crystal, and the light inside it changed color. "We are one now," Lyra said. "Not by blood, but by heart." Ethan nodded. "I will protect you, always." Sari smiled from the side. "Then the bond is complete." That night, Ethan sat with the twins near the viewing window. They looked out at the stars. Naro pointed at a bright one. "What's that one called?" Ethan smiled. "I don't know, but maybe we can name it together." Lyra leaned on his shoulder. "We are not running anymore." "No," Ethan said. "Now we're going forward, together." And for the first time in a long while, Ethan felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. The stars outside the ship were quiet and endless. Ethan stood near the viewing window, looking at the glowing planets far away. Lyra and Naro stood beside him, their eyes full of wonder. A week had passed since the bonding ceremony. Life on the Varellan ship was peaceful. There was no fear, no hiding. The twins were healthy again. Their cheeks had color, and their eyes sparkled with curiosity. Ethan had started to feel like part of their world. He joined in training exercises and helped teach the crew about human tools and machines. The Varellans were gentle people. They moved slowly, spoke with care, and treated feelings with deep respect. One day, Sari called Ethan to the meeting room. She sat with two other elders. We have a mission, she said. A peaceful one. We are going to a planet where people have asked for help. The soil is weak. The crops are dying. They asked for our guidance. Ethan listened closely. We want you to come with us, Sari continued. You understand both hard survival and soft care. Your story with the twins has shown us that. Ethan nodded. I'll go. If Lyra and Naro go, I go. They have already agreed, Sari said with a smile. The next day, the ship entered orbit around a small green and blue planet. It was peaceful. A welcome signal flashed on the screens. A small team prepared to land. Ethan, Lyra, and Naro were part of it. They dressed in simple suits and packed light gear. Ethan checked the tools twice. You both ready? He asked. Ready, Lyra said. Naro smiled. Let's help them like you helped us. They landed near a village with soft hills and clear streams. The people there were friendly but tired. Their fields were dry. Their animals were sick. Ethan saw the same kind of pain in their eyes that he once saw in the twins. The Varellans began testing the soil and water. Ethan helped set up devices. To clean the water, he taught the villagers how to use them. Lyra spoke with the children, showing them light tricks with her hands. Naro drew pictures with them in the dirt. After a few days, the mood of the village changed. Smiles returned. The crops began to grow stronger. The water was safe again. One evening, the villagers invited the team to a small gathering. There was food, music, and dancing. The firelight made everything feel warm. Ethan sat by the fire with Lyra and Naro. I never thought I'd be here, he said. Lyra looked at him. You helped others. That's your gift. Naro added, now we help with you. Ethan smiled. He felt proud. He wasn't just a miner anymore. He was part of something bigger. As the stars appeared above, the elder of the village stood and raised a hand. We thank the Varellans, she said. And we thank the human who walks among them. You brought light in our time of darkness. Ethan stood slowly. He felt shy but honored. I only gave what was once given to me, he said. Kindness. It grows like seeds. The people clapped and smiled. The night was full of joy. Back on the ship. After the mission, the elders gathered again. You brought balance, Sari told Ethan. You showed us new ways. And you helped the twins become something stronger. Ethan looked at Lyra and Naro. They were no longer weak or afraid. They were full of life. They helped me too, Ethan said. Ser, I nodded. That is the best kind of bond. One that helps both sides grow. Time passed. The ship continued its peaceful missions. Ethan stayed with the twins. Together, they became a team. They visited planets, helped others, and shared stories. Wherever they went, people remembered them. A human and two Varellans always working together. Some called them the Bonded Three. Ethan never forgot the day he found the twins in the cargo container. He sometimes wondered what would have happened if he had walked away. But he didn't, and that choice changed everything. One night, Lyra asked him, do you miss your old life? Ethan looked at the stars. Sometimes. But I think this was always where I was meant to be, Naro said. We were meant to find you. They sat in silence, feeling the soft hum of the ship around them. Their story had started with fear, hunger, and escape. But it became something else. A journey of healing, trust, and new beginnings. And it was only the beginning of many more adventures to come. Together.